Ross has its fair share of saintly names associated with it. We have St. Mary and St. Michael, which we're all familiar with, but these arrived in Norman times. We have St. Mary's Church and St. Michael's Church, and they in turn gave their names to Michael Street and Mary Street. Before that, back in Celtic times though, we had St. Avon and St. Evan. 5th and 6th century Celtic saints who arrived here in New Ross. St. Avon was a Wexford man related to St. Iber of Begarin, and he followed shortly after St. Patrick, and St. Patrick foretold great things for St. Avon. He established a church and a scholastic establishment here in the town, and there's debate exactly where he established it, but the general consensus is that it was here in John Street, and it was on the site now where the YMCA hall is now built. And following on that, a century later, St. Evan arrived here in the town, and he continued that establishment, and scholars and students came from all over Ireland to study here. Now, there's another saint associated with New Ross, St. Stephen, and we know that from St. Stephen's Cemetery, but really we don't think there ever was a St. Stephen. We think it's a corruption of St. Evan or St. Even, and it became St. Stephen's Cemetery. But there's a church there which is associated, a little church in the middle of the cemetery, which is associated with St. Avon or St. Evan. Now, some people even think that St. Avon and St. Evan are the same people, but look, one was 5th century, the other 6th century, so you know yourself that can't be true. There's another connection here with the town in that we have Neville Street. On all maps that's shown as Nevin Street, and again people think that that was a corruption of St. Evan, and there is reputed to have been a church up there. The saints have had many miracles associated with them, and they're recorded in the ancient annals. And there's one particular miracle associated with St. Avon. The story goes that there was a local king, an elderly man, and he had a child. And the child was born, and it was his sole heir, but it was a girl. He would have preferred a boy because that was the line of succession at the time, but he asked St. Avon to christen the child. And the story goes that St. Avon saw how forlorn the poor king was. So he went to christen the child, and as he dipped the child in the font, it went in a girl but came out a boy. So he presented the child to the king, who was absolutely delighted with it. So look, as I say, I wasn't there at the time, so I can't stand over, but it is recorded in the ancient annals. So that's the association of the Celtic saints of Ireland here with New Ross, St. Avon and St. Evan. They were here when it was Ross-Vic Throne, before the Normans came, and before really any sort of recorded history of the town was available. So look, we have our fair share of saints, and we've plenty to be proud of.